Shonga chuji anji podrana tosen sanji kanji ngoni razme shurga musume stunza par sawe lama namla sorate kirba sanji chua shigdani nyamba drupa shumla tanta sanjine manere dambe chanso Loto janzo shabla sorate Lame josame janzo toje tam shirke kuru pema shumlaji Shenru zunga gyalwe nyuku ye Tanda drupa tanjina drupara ho Ranji lame drambe kaje la Kosume jaro shidru lazo he Rale jana nepere tujo tuyo imi jure shinji lo. Homage to Sakyamuni Buddha. Homage to His Holiness Lama Achuk Rinpoche. Homage to His Holiness Gyalwe Nyuku Rinpoche. Everybody raise bodhicitta to benefit countless suffering sentient beings. May all beings have happiness and all the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and all the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the great happiness, devoid of suffering. May they forever dwell in the great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. To sacred bodhicitta, the precious and excellent mind, where it is not, may it arise. Where it is, may it never decline, consistently growing, rising higher and higher. And we carry on these incredible teachings of Atisha, the Bodhisattva's garland of jewels. And remember again, one thing is first to understand the theory, and then to contemplate it, and it's very important that it becomes a practice. Once it becomes a practice, then it can really, really benefit us, and it really benefits others. And we carry on with the bodhicitta. We were talking about bodhicitta quite extensively last week, and before that we spoke quite a bit about mindfulness and awareness, and we'll carry on with bodhicitta. It is the backbone, it is the shoulders, it's the eyes, as they say, of the practice of Mahayana, of Mahamudra, of the great perfection. Really, really important practice. To wish for the benefit of others and to transform our own mind. And I didn't read the verse last week, so I'll start with a verse, and this one is: cultivate love and kindness and compassion, and make your bodhicitta stable. Avoid the 10 unwholesome actions, and make your faith and concentration be strong. In our world, when we were brought up, and I think maybe much so this world now, these days, our parenting, our education, what media tells us, the emphasis is on the material world. But we don't really get taught much about our inner world, our spiritual world. And it is very, very important. I think it's very important for children. I think it's very important for adults. It's very important for everybody to really understand their own world, their inner world. We can have a lot of wealth, and the emphasis is maybe for wealth, for fame, for fortune. These we can have, but there's no guarantee that although we have them, that they're going to bring us happiness, that we'll be happy, that we're not going to suffer. In fact, in many cases, or often, it causes suffering. We work very hard to accumulate things, to get the fame, the status, but then we worry about losing it. We have anxiety, we mistrust people, we're suspicious of people. Are they going to take away all we've accumulated? And if we lose it, generally there's a sense of unhappiness, hurt, a lot of afflictions arise, a lot of suffering arises. In reality, they're just ideas, but we become very attached to these ideas and they cause us suffering. So it's very important to know, to understand the truths of this world. Why do we suffer so much? Because we try to work against the truths of this world. We don't want to accept them. We don't want things to change. We want them to stay the same. But that's unrealistic because everything changes. Why does everything change? Because the nature of everything in this world is emptiness. Because of its emptiness, everything is impermanent. It changes. And the importance of love and kindness and compassion and joy. And the importance of cause and effect. And all of this is included in the practice of bodhicitta. Cause and effect, maybe we'll talk about today. Maybe still going to only have to wait. Keep everybody in suspense till the next teaching. Examples of this are, we can have the best food in the world. We can go to a place, the best place in the world. We can be with the best people. Having all of that, we can still be unhappy. You can go to that place, but something has happened. You can even be in the greatest relationship. Something is making you unhappy. You're dissatisfied about something. Something has happened. And so you're unhappy. So although everything around you is perfect, your mind, your emotions are dissatisfied, are not happy. You feel uncomfortable. You can really earn a lot of wealth, but you can still be very unhappy. You can have all the fame and the fortune, but you're still unhappy. On the other hand, you don't have to have all of this. You can have very little. But at the same time as having very little, having a very simple life, people can be very happy. So we see the importance of our spiritual world, of our state of mind. It really affects, it has effect on the rest of our lives. How we view the world, our attitude to this world. And the fact that we don't have to invest in all of these troubles, all of these emotions. They won't cause us so much trouble. So I think it's very important for people to know how important their mental state is. How important it is to know our minds. How important love and kindness is. What is the biggest cause of this unhappiness, the suffering? This I. We have this mantra, I. What do we do? Most of what we do is for whose benefit? My benefit. For I. Or those people just closely related to I. If you look around, this I, we always think this I is most important. If I is suffering, we think I's problems are the greatest. I's problems are the most important. But if we put I with 100 other people, is my suffering greater than everybody else's? Are my problems greater than everybody else's? Myself with 1 million people, are my problems so big, so great? With 7.2 billion people, are my problems so big? There's many people with many problems, much more serious problems than ours. But because it's my problem, it's a big problem. It's consuming my mind. And this is what's causing us so much suffering. In reality, our problems sometimes are not big. We've only made them big. They're only as big as we make them. Sometimes the problems are small, but because of our state of mind, we've attached to them, we've bloated them, we've expanded them, we've played them over and over and over again, so they seem like big problems. In reality, if we're watching this, I assume that you have food, that you have a place to stay, that you have clothes. You have all of this. Then your body's satisfied. Unless, of course, you really have a serious illness, a lot of pain. Then, of course, we're concerned with our body. And it does happen. Sometimes we have a headache. Sometimes our stomach isn't feeling so great. But the rest of the time, where's the unhappiness arising from? It's arising from our mind. What we think about things, what we're worrying about. And most of it is revolving around this I. We're always concerned about ourselves. And what are the great teachers concerned about? The great masters, what are they concerned about? They're concerned about everybody else. They're concerned about love and kindness and compassion for everybody else. This is what they dedicate their time to, their life to, is to benefiting others. Either they're busy teaching. If they're not busy teaching, they're practicing to improve themselves so that they can better benefit others. Or they're spending a lot of time meeting people, helping people, giving them pith instructions to practice, helping them with their problems. They're really dedicated to benefiting others. And this is why they generally don't experience suffering or very little suffering, because they're mostly concerned about others, not themselves. And when you're always thinking about other people, then where's the suffering for yourself? Of course, sometimes what we do, we still have attachment to ourselves. Sometimes we try too hard and we don't have the energy or the ability, and then we feel disheartened, or we feel that we haven't been appreciated. If this is the case, if we don't feel appreciated, it means that we still have some attachment to ourselves. We still think, hey, I'm doing so much, how about a little bit of recognition? We're upset because we haven't got recognition. The great teachers, they really do it to benefit others. They don't do it for recognition, or fame, or fortune, or reputation. We warm at night, we go to sleep. How often are we thinking about the suffering of others? How often do we think, oh, those poor sentient beings, while I'm sleeping here so nicely, so warmly, what about them? What about their suffering? How many beings are suffering? There's a lot of suffering. How many people don't have a place to stay? Are sleeping in the cold? Or can't sleep because they've got so many worries? Maybe we wouldn't be able to sleep so well at night if we really thought about the suffering of others. So it's very important to wish for the benefit of others, to practice love and kindness, especially as a practitioner. And what do? We start with ourselves, and then we start to expand it, we expand it, from ourselves to those people around us, to friends, from the friends to maybe our groups, our social groups, our city, our country, and then to the whole world. Start small and expand it and expand it and expand it. And little things, just the practice of forbearance. Forbearance is also part of bodhicitta, the 6 paramitas which we haven't spoken about yet. But if we take, for example, let's say, use for example, the wife. She's really hard-working. She has a very strenuous job. She has a lot of responsibility. And the husband's at home much earlier. Always even at home looking after everything, looking after the house. When she comes home, she's had a long day. She's had a hard day. She wants to download. Who do we download with? We download with those people that we love the most. Why? Because they love us. Because we feel safe about it. We feel that we can be open with them. And sometimes, so they let go all the problems, the unhappinesses. Sometimes they might even say to the husband, and you know, you haven't done this isn't satisfactory, and I'm dissatisfied with this. Actually, there's a lot of love, but at the moment, there's just all of these emotions. And these emotions bring out certain things that people have been thinking about. And the husband just sits there, and just sits and listens and nods his head, doesn't say anything, doesn't talk back, just accepts the situation. Why? Because the husband knows this isn't personal. He knows that at the moment there's just been a lot going on and there's quite a few emotions involved. Sits and listens. Listens quietly, listens patiently. Actually, in fact, what is he doing? He's actually helping. How is he helping? Because by not talking back, not defending himself, not taking it personally, his wife has got one less problem. If he got all upset about it, felt he was being picked on, felt it was unfair, and said something about it, then already the mood is a little bit tense. There's a good chance there would be a fight, a disagreement, a lot of unhappy emotions. But because he doesn't, he just sits there and listens, accepts it. What can I do to help you? How can I make you more comfortable? There's less problems. So just that act of forbearance is in fact helping. And another good way to practice is to think of all sentient beings as our mothers. If we think about it, since beginningless time, we've had how many lifetimes? In all those lifetimes, it's a good chance that every single sentient being has at least once, been our parents, our mother or our father. And what do our parents do for us? They do so much for us. So we should wish to really benefit, to really repay that kindness. Maybe it hasn't been this lifetime, but for any other time that they've been our parents, that we can repay their kindness. Every single sentient being. If we think what our mother does for us, our father does for us, it's really so much. There might be things that we don't like that they've done. And sometimes we'll hold on to that and say, my parents did this to me, and my parents didn't have that, and my parents didn't do this for me. I was so unfortunate. Have we thought about all the good things that they've done for us? How much effort they've put in for us? Maybe once we become parents, I haven't become a parent, so I don't really know, I just assume, then we'll really realize how much our parents have really done for us. In Buddhism we say, if we carried our parents around the world on our back, it wouldn't be sufficient to repay them for everything they did for us. They wiped our bums for us how many times? They fed us. They didn't sleep at night because of us. They worked so hard so that we could have a good upbringing, that we could be fortunate, we could have a few toys to play with, that we had food, that we had education. When we got sick, they dropped everything for us. Made sure we were okay, treated us very kindly, cared for us. Ran over here, ran over there, fetched, carried. And even after all of this, when we leave the house, they still worry about us. They're still concerned about us, concerned about our well-being. Even although you might be living with your parents, most parents are still worried about you. They're concerned about you. They ask you all of these funny questions. Often why? Because they just want to know, are you okay? Are you happy? Behind all of that, they're really concerned about how you are. You even see parents of 70, 80 years old taking their children around, helping their children look after their children. Their children are sick, they're still driving them around. They do incredible amount for us. Really a lot. And I understand, for some people they don't have that relationship with their parents. Some people really, very negative things happened. So maybe they don't feel the same way as I'm saying. But for everybody, if you're alive today, somebody did wipe our bum for us. Somebody did care for us. Somebody looked after us. Somebody educated us. Somebody fed us. Somebody bought us clothes. And even in general life, people help us. Help us with directions. They help us in many different ways. So it's very good to practice gratitude. And we'll speak about gratitude another time. But really to treat everybody, all sentient beings, as our mothers, as our fathers, and treat them with great respect. This also helps us to practice equanimity towards all sentient beings. And really do our best. If we're happy, what happens? We're healthy. That happiness seeks into ourselves. The people we spend time with, the people that we work with, our friends, our associates, they feel happier around us. They feel more relaxed around us. They're more willing to help. And if you really do your best, make an effort at work and do it happily, there's a good chance your boss is going to appreciate you. Or your employees will appreciate working for you. On the other hand, if you're very unhappy, disgruntled, then it affects your relationships, it seeps into your cells, affects your health. It affects the people at work. If you go into a place and there's a horrible atmosphere, a tense atmosphere, people can feel it. And then what it does, it affects our health, it affects our wealth. We are unhealthy, unhappy, we spend more time at the doctors, maybe we have to go to psychologists, psychiatrists, not have to, we choose to. So it affects, we're working so hard to accumulate wealth, but our unhappiness affects us. It affects our health, affects our work, affects our relationships. So it's good to inspire again and again. Aspire to bodhicitta, aspire to benefit others. By aspiring again and again, more and more it seeps into our mind stream. More and more it becomes possible that it maybe becomes our body, speech and mind. It's like if we listen to music, listen to a song, we hear it again and again and again. After a while, subconsciously, we just start singing the song. Not thinking about it, the words just come, the rhythm comes, we're singing along. Suddenly somewhere we haven't consciously decided to sing, we're walking down the street, sitting in the car, it starts to flow. It just comes out naturally. The movement with it also comes a bit naturally. For some a little bit better, more easily than others. The same, we repeat it again, make these aspirations, make these wishes more and more, becomes part of our mind stream, and more, so to become part of our speech, part of what we're doing, becomes easier and easier, becomes actions, becomes things that we do with our speech and our body. So it's very important to train again and again, train this mind in bodhicitta, in love and kindness. Again, which is the biggest obstacle, the greatest obstacle, is this I. I, this mantra I. It's the biggest obstacle to our happiness. The selfish mind, the biggest enemies we have, where are they? They're not the external enemies, they are our own emotions. Because of our own afflictive emotions, because of our anger, our blame, our revenge, our desire, our jealousy, our arrogance, we hurt people. We create enemies. Enemies are created because of our attitude, because of our emotions. And if you practice bodhicitta, what happens? It really keeps us on the path. If you're practicing wisdom emptiness, there's a possibility you go down the wrong path, you get a little bit lost. But if you practice bodhicitta, it really keeps you on the path. And try and love unconditionally. Also part of bodhicitta is loving unconditionally. Very difficult, isn't it? How many of us can love unconditionally? Most of us, we have conditions to our love. It's like a contract. I love this person because of their eyes, because of their voice, because of the color of their hair, because they do this, because they don't do that. All of these conditions. We love the person we meet, but after a while, we're not satisfied with that. We want to change them. No longer love. We still love the person, but we want them to be. We want to change them. And then they change, and then we're unhappy. We're dissatisfied. We want something else to change. We're not happy with the change. Or they don't change, we're unhappy with it. They don't change. We meet somebody, we love them, we want them to be happy. In fact, how often do we think? We think about how this person can make me happy. How often do we think, how can I make this person happy? And then, if there's problems in the relationship, how often do we love them unconditionally? Maybe they get involved with somebody else, they move on. How often are we very happy for them to move on? How often are we very bitter, hurt, disappointed, feel mistrust? How often is it because our pride is hurt? How often do we really wish for them to just be happy, even although their happiness is no longer going to include us, or only a little bit? We can get through many problems, but emotional problems is really difficult for us to get through. We hold on to those emotions. We hold on to that pride, that hurt. We don't let it go. So it hurts us again and again. Really try to love unconditionally. Everybody. It's really quite difficult. But we can do it. It's really possible. We can love everyone unconditionally. And this is the practice of bodhicitta as well. To really learn to be able to love everyone unconditionally. In our lives, there's two two people that are of great merit, of great benefit to us. The first is, as we said, our parents, our mother and our father. Everything that they do for us. And the second is our enlightened teacher. Our parents wish for our happiness, we spoke about earlier. But generally, unless they're practicing to be bodhisattvas as well, their wishes are of a material concern. They wish us to have material happiness. How many of our parents wish us to be really happy, to attain enlightenment, to be free of all suffering and have every happiness? And not only ourselves, but every single sentient being the same. But our teachers do. Most parents haven't even been introduced to the thought of maybe wishing for everybody to have happiness and be free of suffering. So the greatest kindness comes from our teachers. And this is why we don't follow our parents to liberation, to enlightenment, because they haven't attained the state of enlightenment. This is why we follow our teachers. This is what they wish, as we said earlier. The teachers wish for the happiness, the benefit of all beings, that they can really attain enlightenment. And practice love and kindness, even if you see a dead animal on the side of the road, even if it's a cockroach or a mosquito. A little bit difficult to see. Any dead animal, any dead person, when you go past, recite some mantras. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, in your heart. Really wish for them to have happiness, to have a good rebirth. And the teachers say even that is of benefit. Maybe in future lives, you're doing things and suddenly somebody pops up. You don't know, they come out of nowhere and they're helping you. And you think, how did this happen? How am I come? I'm so fortunate. Because before, you really wished for their happiness. And those seeds have ripened. And now they benefit you. They help you. The biggest problems that we have is that we hold on to all of these discriminations, all of these emotions, all of these judgments, all of these attachments. Instead of holding on to the pith instructions to practice and really practicing them. So instead of holding on to the pith instructions, we hold on to all of these things that we shouldn't be holding on to. And it's very important for us to investigate what brings happiness, what are the causes of happiness, what brings suffering and what are the causes. Next week we'll talk more about this. Give yourself a chance. Treat yourself with love and kindness as well. But this love and kindness is not a selfish love and kindness. It's not I love and kindness. When you really start to realize the true nature of mind, you start to see that everything is the mind, is the play of your own mind and the manifestation of your own mind and your own thoughts. So really practice wisdom. Wisdom illuminates the darkness of ignorance. It eradicates ignorance. Just like you have a house or a cave, a place, let's say it's a house that has been shut for 1,000 years. No light has come in. But as soon as you open those windows, you open that door, the light shines in, the darkness disappears. Even if it's been dark for 1,000 years, the sun comes in, the light takes away the darkness. The same. If you really practice wisdom, as soon as that wisdom comes in, it removes the ignorance. So when you light candles, offerings, wish that this light removes, that this wisdom removes the darkness of ignorance all over the world, throughout the universe. What is bodhicitta? Bodhi is the awakening and citta is the mind. So it's the awakening mind. And anybody who teaches us, who helps us develop compassion, love and kindness, is making a contribution to world peace. Anybody that practices love and kindness, compassion, is contributing to world peace. Every moment, watch what is going on in your mind. Every moment that you practice kindness, that you practice love, that you benefit others, you're contributing to world peace. Don't think that what you do is too small. It doesn't matter. Every little drop benefits. Every little drop eventually fills the bucket. Similarly though, if you're practicing anger, hatred, blame, revenge, you're contributing to taking away world peace. We all want world peace, but how can there be world peace if we don't have inner peace? And this is a very good place to start. Developing world peace. A quote from Shantideva, the great Shantideva. The Buddhas are my true, unfailing friends. Boundless are the benefits they bring me. How else may I repay their goodness, but by making living beings happy? The Buddhas are our friends. Why? They teach us how to transform these afflictive emotions, to be free of them, and to practice love and kindness. And because of this, we're happier, our mind is more calm, at peace, and we benefit others. So because of this peace and the happiness we experience, we would like to repay their benefit to us. How is the best way to repay the benefit to us, that they gave us, is to benefit others. Our practice doesn't leave sentient beings. Sentient beings are essential to our practice. Because of other sentient beings, we get the opportunity to practice love and kindness. We're interdependent. We don't live on our own. Our world is not independent of everybody else. In fact, our life really relies so much on others. And because of sentient beings, we get the opportunity to practice patience, forbearance, tolerance, to check how well is our practice going, how well are we able to deal with situations, are we able to maintain love and kindness and compassion in any situation. If these afflictive emotions arise, the 3 poisons, our anger, our pride, our jealousy, the 5 poisons, our desire, our ignorance, how quickly can we transform it? How quickly can we change it into love and kindness? How quickly can we make it that we love every single being, that we rejoice in every single being, that we help remove the suffering of every single sentient being? And we can practice Tonglen. Tonglen is the practice of visualizing that we breathe in. When we breathe in, this also we start from just a few people, expand it until you imagine, visualize that you're doing it for the entire universe. You breathe in. Imagine you breathing in the suffering of all beings. It's a black smoke. As it enters into your heart, when it enters into your body, you imagine that it dissolves all of this self-grasping, all of this ego. And when you breathe out love and kindness towards all sentient beings. Take in all their suffering and give out, wishing for them to have every happiness, to be free of every suffering, and really rejoicing in it. Breathing in their suffering, black smoke, dissolving the self-grasping, breathing out love and kindness and happiness towards all sentient beings. Again and again, practice this. Again and again, it becomes the music. Becomes more of what you do and what you say. Practice Tonglen. Very, very, very great practice. And you say, what influence does this love and kindness and compassion have? If you just think of His Holiness Lama Achuk Rinpoche, through the Cultural Revolution, he followed his teacher for 40 years, helped him, did whatever his teacher requested him to do. They were in solitary, they were alone for a long time. Then maybe when he was 40, 50, his teacher Trulga Arik Rinpoche said, you must start a monastery. He started with 6 students and the guidance of his teacher. By the time he passed away, at the age of 80, that he attained parinirvana, all year round at the monastery were more than 10,000 nuns and monks, all practicing his Dharma. Hundreds and thousands of students. They say thousands of students attained enlightenment through his practice, through his teachings, through his guidance. What did he do? He lived a very simple life. He just lived in a little hut. He hardly ever left it. And from that little hut, he taught. And when he wasn't teaching, he was receiving students, receiving people, giving them instructions, helping them with their problems. He used to sleep 1 hour or 2 hours a night. And when he didn't have people to help that were there, he used to practice his practices, improving how to benefit sentient beings, praying for the benefit of sentient beings. So we think we have to have so many things, so much wealth. We don't. Look at him. Just simply in a little hut, nothing else, hardly left it. But from that little hut, how many sentient beings did he benefit? What was his benefit? Great, great bodhicitta, and the realization of wisdom emptiness, the great perfection. When our mind is bodhicitta, when our thoughts are bodhicitta, then what we say is bodhicitta. What we do is bodhicitta. Everything we do is love and kindness and compassion and care for sentient beings. When our mind is anger, hatred, blame, revenge, jealousy, pride, desire, then that's what our body is, that's what our speech is. So really endeavor again and again and again to grow in auspicious, boundless bodhicitta. And we teach for today. We dedicate these merits. First, in the greatest of gratitude, to His Holiness Gyalwai Nyuku Rinpoche, to His Holiness Lama Achuk Rinpoche, to all our perfect teachers, that all beings may attain omniscience, having defeated the enemies of wrongdoings of birth, old age, sickness and death, that all may be liberated from the ocean of the suffering of samsara. Sonamdaye tamcha dzipanye topnye nyepe dranang kajeja kekar nanchil balang trupai zipi tsoli troa sho.
Om Mana Padme Hum, Om Mana Padme Hum, Om Mana Padme Hum,